Hey guys, I'm Roxette Arisa and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a video all about my favorite brushes. These are brushes that are just my ride or dies. I could not live without them. And originally I wanted to do this video just because I think it's so important to have a good set of tools. Even if you are on a budget, I would personally say that it might be better to invest in good tools and then stick with, drugstore makeup. That's just my personal opinion, but I think that tools are so important. So let's get into this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before we hop in, join our little rockstar family, and let go. So I'm gonna kind of go in order. I may get excited and kind of jump around, but the first brush that I want to talk about is a brow brush. I always do my brows first. You probably know that if you watch a lot of my videos, but this is my favorite brow brush in the entire world. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills number 12. I believe it's number 12. You can see I've used it so much that literally all of the writing has just completely worn off, but I will link it down below along with the correct name. I'll link all of the products down below if I, make any mistakes, but I'm 99% sure that this is the number 12. So the reason I like this is it's so small. You can see it's like really miniature, but I love that. Because of that, the actual bristles are a little smaller than normal and they're a little denser than normal, I would say. Plus the angle is at a really nice angle, and because it is so small, I can really get precise brush strokes, and I just find it very easy to work with no matter what product I'm using. And of course it has a spoolie on the other end. That's pretty, that is pretty darn essential. So I'm happy it has that. Next up, I've got this concealer brush. This is the Morphe E19. This is my favorite brush to use for like carving out the brows or shaping them. Let me tell you why. So the reason why I love this brush in particular, I've tried a lot of different shapes of brushes for this particular step, but I like this the best because the bristles are long, but they're actually not as dense as a lot of other concealer brushes, giving you more flexibility and making your strokes look a lot more natural. Also, it has this curved edge to it, which again, makes it look a lot more natural in my opinion, so I can really get into the arch of the brow, but it still looks very natural. You can tell I'm into the natural brows apparently. But yeah, love this brush. I don't use anything else for my brows because it is so good. Okay, I guess I'll move to face now. I think I should do an honorable mention for beauty blenders or beauty sponges, even though they're not technically brushes. Come on. Honorable mention is necessary. I love these. They are really great for giving you more of like a flawless finish. Beauty sponges will soak up a little bit of product rather than using a brush. That's the biggest difference that I see. But if you're going for more of a natural, there's that word again, if you're going more for a natural kind of radiant finish, even if you're using matte, but you know what I mean, like it's a little bit more sheared out when you are using a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. These are my two favorites. This is from Beauty Blender. This is a Beauty Blender Pro. And then this is a L'Oreal Beauty Sponge. Both of these are really good, honestly. I love them both. I reach for them all the time. And like I said, I go for that more when I'm looking for like a little bit more of a sheer, flawless finish. But if I'm going for full coverage and I don't want to use a beauty sponge but rather a brush, this is the one that I reach for. So this is the Sigma Beauty 3D HD Kabuki. I love this brush. It has really nice bristles. They're not too firm, but they're not too unfirm. I don't know what I was trying to say, but you know what I mean. Like they're very nice. They're a nice density. There we go. That's the word that I was looking for. And you can see the shape is really cool. So I like the shape because it actually can get like into every single crevice of my face. It's very easy to use. It just blends out seamlessly and it gives me a full coverage finish when I want that. So yeah, I love this. Oh, totally forgot. I always forget to say discount codes if I get them, but Sigma did give me a discount code for you guys. They heard that I was gonna do this video because I think I mentioned it a couple videos back and I was like, do you guys want me to do it? And you were like, yes, so now I'm doing it. And then they were like, oh, we will give your rock stars a increased discount, which is really, really sweet of them to do. So you'll get an increased discount. I think my normal one is 10% off with the code Roxette Arisa, but it's gonna be 15% off with the code Roxette Arisa for a very limited time, just like a couple days. So I'll put the exact dates below. It's starting today, obviously, but I can't remember exactly when it ends, but I'll put all the info below. So yeah, give them a big thanks for me because that was really, really sweet of them. So next up for concealer, this is my favorite concealer brush in the entire world. This is the E.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, literally like $1 or $2, and you can get it at Target. I think I got this at Target probably like 5 or 6 years ago, no joke, and it is still working great for me. It is my favorite concealer brush. You can see how dirty it is. I'm sorry also if all these brushes are dirty, but I literally use them every single day, so you're getting the real deal here. And yeah, like I was saying, this brush right now you can't really tell because it is so dirty, but when it is cleaner, it's very fluffy and you can just buff out your concealer so nicely, and it doesn't wipe away foundation underneath. It is just so beautiful. It just leaves me with such a great finish. So I either use this or the Beauty Blender for concealer, but this is definitely my favorite concealer brush if we're just talking brushes. For powder, this is my favorite powder brush. So this is the Sigma Tapered Face F25. The reason I like this is because it does have that tapered to it, but also the bristles are very fluffy and they don't disperse a lot of product heavily, if that makes sense. I feel like that was a really weird way to word that sentence, but it just leaves you with a flawless finish because it does disperse it very evenly, very smooth, very lightly. Does that make sense? I feel like that made a lot more sense. But yeah, I really like the shape of it because it fits really nicely under my eyes or really anywhere that I need to powder. But it also, like I said, it disperses powders very, very nicely. So that is why I always reach for that powder brush. Now, let's move into, I don't know if I should do like contour, highlight, blush right now, or eyes. I guess I'll just stick with face. So I have 2 contour brushes to mention, well, 3 technically, but I do have 2 because depending on the day, I reach for these 2 equally, so I couldn't really decide between the 2. So the first is this Sigma Small Contour F05. I love this contour brush. When I first started using it, I didn't think I was gonna like it because it has this rounded tip, but that's the reason I love it now. So the reason I love it so much is because it does have that small, rounded shape to it, but it actually just gets into my contours, like the contours of my cheeks, so nice, and it gives it a very, very natural look. And how I use it is I actually just like buff it in, and it still gives me that very angled contour, which I think is amazing. The other contour brush that I wanted to tell you guys about is the Sigma Soft Angled Contour F23. This one is what I go for when I want even more of a defined cheekbone area. That's what I use today, and I don't know, I feel like it's just because they're different shapes, they disperse product just a little bit differently. They both give beautiful contour, so if you're looking for a contour brush and you don't know which one to go for, honestly, either of these, I wish I had, you know, a definite answer of like which one you should go for or not, but I really, really like both of these, so you could probably go with either of them and be good to go. And then the third contour brush that I was talking about is actually a nose contour brush. So this is from Dose of Colors, and this is actually technically an eyeshadow brush. It's the shader brush, but it has a really fine, narrow angle or like narrow bristle about it, narrow shape if you feel. So it makes it really easy to get in and contour the nose pretty naturally. Again, that word keeps coming up, but I think tools have a lot to do with how products are applied, you know? So this gives me a very natural finish. It has the perfect amount of width to it to make the contour shape that I want for my nose, and I don't know, I just love it. For bronzer, now this one may surprise you guys because it's actually not technically a bronzer brush. I think this is technically for contouring. This is the MAC Cosmetics 168 brush. So this guy, I mean, like I said, I think it's actually for contouring, but I love it for bronzer because I can really get precision. Sometimes when I use fluffier brushes for bronzer, I feel like I'm just like poofing powder all over my face, and that's not really what I want, or that's not the look that I'm going for, you know? So this one I will just kind of like buff it in. And I like it because since it is technically for contour, I can actually blend out my contour into my bronzer very, very easily with this brush because it just kind of like blends all together really nicely. And again, I love the shape because it's so precise. I don't have to worry about powder just getting everywhere and just looking like an Oompa Loompa or something because, again, so precise. So I absolutely love this bronzer brush. For blush, you guys know I really like just a light wash of color. I don't like anything too heavy, and I think that brushes have a lot to do with that, like a lot. I've noticed a huge difference since I started reaching for this guy. This is the MAC 137, and the reason I like it is because it's a natural hair brush, so it picks up powders really well and it applies powders very flawlessly. But the biggest thing that I like is you can see how fluffy it is. It's not dense at all, and the bristles are very long, giving it more of like a windswept feel to it, a windswept finish, if you will. And it just applies blush so beautifully, more beautiful than anything else that I've ever used in my life. I can still use very pigmented blushes and not come out looking like a clown. So I'm all for that, and I love, love, love this brush. I know MAC is kind of expensive for brushes, and I'm really, really sorry about that, but I mean, I'm really happy that Sigma gave you guys an extra discount code because I know when I first said that I was going to be doing this video, a lot of people were saying that, you know, Sigma was a little bit too expensive or a little bit out of their price range, but honestly, Sigma is such good quality, so I'm so happy that they decided to give you an increased discount for, you know, for the celebration of this video. So actually another Sigma brush. This brush I have talked about relentlessly because it is the best brush on the market. I will say that 100% guarantee. You will love this brush if you try it. This is the Sigma Strobing Fan F42. I knew it by heart. I don't know why I kept looking at it. Sigma F42. It is amazing. 3 syllables, you guys. Again, like I've talked about it before, but I have to mention it because it is the best brush I've ever used for highlight. Any highlight I use, I feel like it looks bomb when I use this brush, so I only use this brush now. The reason I like it is because it has this fan shape, but the fan itself is very dense and very small, so you can really get, you know, right on that high point of the cheekbone very, very easily. It blends out nicely. It just, everything about this brush is just everything I could ask for and more for a highlight brush, and this is the only brush I use for highlights, and it is bomb. Okay, moving to eyes, let's get started. This is the brush that I really recommend for eye primer, and I know maybe that's not like an essential for a lot of you guys, but if you do use MAC Soft Ochre or any form of paint pot as a primer, I would say it is essential because you want to get it nicely blended out before you apply eyeshadows over it, obviously, or else the eyeshadows are gonna come out patchy. So this is the Morphe R32, and I like it because it has this dome shape. It does have synthetic bristles, so it's great for creams, and it just really, really gets everything blended out so easily. I can just whoop, whoop, and I'm good to go. So it's super quick and easy for that little step. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about blending brushes. These are my favorite blending brushes right here. I guess I'll go through them individually. So the first is from Morphe. This is the Morphe M441. This is the first blending brush I ever owned. I love Morphe because it is affordable, so it's great if you just want one and you're good to go, just for like a starter kit sort of thing. It is such a good brush because you can see it has a really nice taper. I've used this a million times, so mine's actually not fraying, but it's not as, I guess, well shaped as it was before. But when you first get it, it's very, very tapered, so it makes it really, really easy to get into that crease. And I used this for transition shades for forever and ever and ever when I first started doing makeup, and I think it's a really, really solid blending brush. The other ones that I wanted to talk about, okay, so these two are from Sigma. I think these are essentials, you guys, like 100%. I will like take these to the grave with me. So this is the Sigma Tapered Blending E35, and this is the Sigma Tapered Blending E40. It has rubbed off because I always use it. You can tell they have a very similar shape. They are very similar. It's just that the E40 is a little bit bigger, a little bit fluffier. So how I use both of these, this is what I usually use for my transition shades, and then this is what I use to blur everything out right on top of the transition shades to make everything look absolutely seamless. And for me, that is essential because of what I do. I'm, you know, like I do makeup for a living. I understand that that might not be essential for if you're just doing everyday makeup, but if you are serious about makeup and you really want your eyeshadow to be 100s blended out to the gods, then these two are essentials because of what I said. Like, they're just going to blur everything out. They're just going to make your transition so seamless that you don't even know they're there. So there you go. The last blending brush that I wanted to mention to you guys is the MAC 217. This one it has a bit of a different shape than the others that I've mentioned. This one is a little bit more, I don't know, narrow domed, if you get my drift. And this one is very, very versatile. I do use it in the crease sometimes. I use it for transition sometimes. I will use it for like an upper crease. Like, it's a very, very versatile brush, but I wanted to mention it just because it is an iconic brush and I do use it a lot. So those are my little blending brushes. And then for packing on shadows to the base of the eye, I guess, this is my favorite brush to do it with. This is the Sigma Medium Sweeper E54. So what I like about this brush is that it is small, it is dense, it is not super, super flat. If you can tell, it has a little bit of fluff to it, but I love that because it really packs on the color without having as much fallout as I would normally have. I know that sounds crazy, but I honestly have noticed that, and I just feel like when I pack on shadows with this brush, they just are so pigmented, and I don't know what kind of magic is in this brush, but I'm loving for it. Loving for it, I'm living for it, or I'm loving it. I don't know what I was trying to say. So I have a few more miscellaneous brushes to tell you guys about. I'll start with this one because I have talked about this again 1,000,001 times. This is the Sigma Winged Liner E06. This is the only brush that I use for gel liners because it is the perfect shape, it's the perfect size, it's the perfect, like everything about this brush is perfect. If you watched my wing liner tutorial that I did last year, you already know because I talked about it incessantly in that video as well. But again, the thing I like about it is so small, it is so precise, it has the most perfect little tip on it. It is just perfection when it comes to wing liner. Like, I can't put it any other way. As soon as I started using this brush, which was probably like a year ago now, I noticed such a difference in my wings. Like, they just went from here to here, maybe even higher, because it just makes it so easy to do your wings. I mean, there's not really much else to say other than I love this, it's amazing, you need it in your life. Okay, so the other three brushes that I have, this is what I use to set my lashes. I'll usually take a powder, like a black eyeshadow, and set it with this guy. So this is the Firma Beauty 206 angled brush. What I like about this is it actually is a denser angle brush. I would not use this for wing liner. I would not use this for brows. Like, there's no other use that I would personally use this for except for setting my lashes. And I kid you not, it's the only brush I use for that because it is so good for that. Because like I was saying, it is a bit denser. It's a little bit fluffier than most wing liners, which is why I personally wouldn't use it for liner. Like, it's just, it wouldn't work out for me personally. But for setting it, because I'm using a powder, it works really nicely because it disperses it evenly. It just gets right in there, down and dirty, so I love it. The other brushes, this is the Dose of Colors pencil brush. This is what I use for underneath. Oh, I have one more that I really like for underneath the lower lashes. Okay, so these are the two under eye brushes that I reach for the most. This is the Dose of Colors pencil brush, like I said. This one I use if I want more of a precise blend, if that makes sense. Because it's a pencil brush, you are gonna get a lot of precision. You're gonna get right in there and just place the product exactly where you want. I used this today, and it's nice if you just want it on like the outer corner and just to drag it in. This is perfect. This one is what I use for more smoked out looks. So this is the Sigma Short Shader E20. And because of the shape of it, I have never seen another brush this shape. So I think it's really, really nice. It's very dense, very short, very, very short. And because of that shape and those qualities, it just makes it so easy to smoke out the lower lash line if I'm going for more of a dramatic smoke. Does that make sense? I feel like it made sense, but I love this brush. Okay, and the last brush that I have to tell you guys about is the Morphe E36. This is what I use for inner corner highlights, and I have never picked up another inner corner highlight brush since getting this one, like probably a year and a half ago, because it is so good. It is very small, it has a rounded tip, it has synthetic bristles, so it's perfect for powder, and it just really gets into, I don't have inner corner highlight on today because I did the extended inner corner wing thing, but when I do inner corner, whoo, it is poppin' because of this brush. Like I was saying, it's just so small, so you can really just get into that inner corner and just be poppin'. Those are all of my brushes, the ones that I could not live without. 100s, like these are my ride or dies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I really hope you find it helpful, because I know when I first started getting into makeup, it was really hard for me to decipher what brushes were good, what was for what, like what was gonna work for me. So I really hope you guys found it helpful, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up for me. I think that's going to be it for me. Remember, you are beautiful inside and out. I love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Join our little fam bam over here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!